Sometimes a team will improve upon their previous season due to an easier schedule.
This team deserves to win the division. This team is the best. They're in the best opportunity to win the division, so I'm going to go with the Ravens.
Today, we're going to take a look at the 5 teams who will likely lose more games in 2026 and the 5 teams who will likely win more games in 2026. Will lose more games? Chicago Bears. The Bears had an outstanding 2025 season due to Caleb Williams taking a step in the right direction. Head coach Ben Johnson's offense making massive strides and ranking 6th in total offense with 369.2 yards per game and 9th in scoring. Now, as fun and exciting as the 2025 Bears were, they are projected to lose more games in the 2026 season for a couple of reasons. First, their 2026 schedule is much tougher, as they have to square off against teams like the New England Patriots, Buffalo Bills, Seattle Seahawks, and Philadelphia Eagles, who all made the playoffs in 2025. Not to mention the rest of the NFC North, which has become one of the most competitive divisions in recent years. Second off, we got the Bears' pass rush and secondary, which are major weaknesses for the team heading into the regular season. Sure, the Bears re-signed Elijah Hicks and Jalen Jones and signed Super Bowl 60 champion Kobe Bryant and former Bills cornerback Cam Lewis. But losing guys like Jaquan Brisker, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and Kevin Byard is really going to impact the secondary. It's going to be an interesting year for the Bears as they now enter the season as the defending NFC North champs. But they are going to have to do everything they can to build upon the success of their 2025 season. Will win more games? Baltimore Ravens. The 2025 Ravens were a bit of a disappointment, failing to reach double-digit wins, experienced a late-season collapse, and fired longtime head coach John Harbaugh as a result. The Ravens went ahead and hired Los Angeles Chargers defensive coordinator Jesse Minter to be the team's next head coach, who is a defensive-minded coach who should bring stability and maximize on Lamar Jackson's talents, while he's still in his prime. Even though the trade for Max Crosby failed, the Ravens signed Trey Hendrickson, Jalen Hawkins, Calais Campbell, and Kayvon Wallace, who will give mentor and defensive coordinator Anthony Weaver great talent to work with on defense. The Ravens do have an easier schedule in 2026, where they'll square off against the Indianapolis Colts, Tennessee Titans, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, New Orleans Saints, Carolina Panthers, Los Angeles Chargers, and Atlanta Falcons, who are all mostly middle-tier to bottom feeders in their respective conferences. The Ravens' offense will be refreshed under new offensive coordinator Declan Doyle. The 2026 Ravens have a fresh slate ahead of them, and they are very likely going to make a lot of noise during the regular season. Will lose more games? Green Bay Packers. The 2025 Packers had a disappointing end to their season when they lost to their longtime rivals, the Chicago Bears, in the wildcard round. And the 2026 Packers are likely going to lose more games in 2026 as the competition in the NFC North continues to intensify. Key departures from guys like Zane Anderson, Malik Willis, Romeo Doubs, Kingsley Engelbar, Quay Walker, and Rasheed Walker, those are all going to impact the Packers during 2026, especially not having Willis on the roster, who was a very reliable backup for Jordan Love. The Packers didn't have a first-round draft pick during the 2026 draft, which really hurt the team from upgrading weaker spots to address for the 2026 season. Not to mention, losing Doubs is really going to hurt, as he was the team's leading receiver in 2025, and their next best guy up is Christian Watson, who signed a contract extension but still hasn't had a 1,000-yard season in the league yet. Micah Parsons is likely going to miss some time in the 2026 season as he continues to recover from his ACL injury from 2025. And on top of that, the Packers have a brutal schedule ahead of them, with 3 of their first 4 games being on the road, which, is never easy. Will win more games? New York Jets. Although the Jets aren't a playoff team, they are projected to take a step forward and earn more wins in 2026. For starters, the Jets traded away Justin Fields to the Kansas City Chiefs and traded for Geno Smith from the Las Vegas Raiders. The Jets also made some drastic additions during the NFL draft by snagging David Bailey, Kenyon Sadiq, and Omar Cooper Jr. in the first round. Gang Green has a very favorable schedule in 2026, as they have no international games, and all 8 of their home games have a 1 p.m. ET kickoff time. The Jets traded for Minkah Fitzpatrick, signed Landon Young, signed Joseph Osai, signed Nashawn Wright, and Dane Belton to improve the team's defense. On top of that, head coach Aaron Glenn should be more aggressive with his defensive play style for the upcoming regular season with the new additions to the roster. It's only up from here, and the Jets can only improve after a, disastrous 2025 season. Will lose more games? New England Patriots. As surprising and good as the Patriots were in 2025, 2026 is going to be much different for the defending AFC East champs, as they are definitely expected to take a slight step backwards. The Patriots have a pretty tough start to the 2026 season, as they're set to face off against the defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks on the road, the Pittsburgh Steelers at home, the Jacksonville Jaguars on the road, and the Buffalo Bills on the road during the first 4 weeks of the season. All of that combined will lead to travel fatigue, as the Patriots are set to travel over 27,590 miles this upcoming season. Drake May have A.J. Brown to throw to, but he lost Stephon Diggs, who was released by the team, and signed Romeo Doubs, who hasn't quite had a 1,000-yard season yet. May also struggled down the stretch near the end of the regular season and didn't play his best football in Super Bowl 60 when the Patriots lost to the Seahawks. On top of that, Mike Vrabel has been involved in an off-field scandal with NFL reporter Diana Rossini, which continues to be a distraction for this team. Will win more games? Las Vegas Raiders. Similar to the New York Jets, the Raiders are not a playoff contender. But they made some great moves during the offseason and the 2026 NFL Draft that will help them earn more wins in 2026. The Raiders traded Geno Smith back to the Jets, signed Kirk Cousins as an upgrade at quarterback, and drafted Fernando Mendoza as their long-term answer at quarterback in the future. The Raiders hired former Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak as their next head coach, who will provide the team with stronger offensive schemes to run with during the regular season. Not to mention, the Raiders made some serious moves in free agency, signing center Tyler Linderbaum, linebackers Nakobe Dean and Quay Walker, and defensive end Kwity Paye, thus bolstering the roster. The Raiders drafted Traden Stukes, Jermod McCoy, and Kieran Crawford, who will boost the team's defense during the regular season. They'll lose more games? Carolina Panthers. The Panthers won the luck of the draw in the NFC South in 2025 by winning the division and competing in a playoff game, which they lost 34-31 against the Los Angeles Rams, but things are going to be much tougher for them heading into the 2026 season. The Panthers enter 2026 with a much tougher schedule, as they'll be squaring off against the Chicago Bears, Philadelphia Eagles, Green Bay Packers, Denver Broncos, Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens, and Seattle Seahawks. Head coach Dave Canales gave up play calling duties to first-time play caller Brad Idzik, which analysts have pointed out as perhaps a small sign of regression. Bryce Young looks to continue improving, but he and the Panthers lack a strong ground game, which is definitely going to hurt them in key games during this upcoming season. Sure, the team has Chuba Hubbard, but he hasn't had a 1,000-yard rushing season since the 2024 season, and he missed time with a calf injury. The Panthers spent a huge amount of money on veteran Jalen Phillips, who has a history of injuries throughout his career. On top of that, Young has a lot of pressure heading into 2026 to see if he can repeat how he performed in 2025. The NFC South is still a weak division, meaning that anyone can win it in 2026, but I don't know. If I were a betting man, I would not be betting on the Panthers. Will win more games? New York Giants. The Giants made some serious moves after the conclusion of the 2025 season by hiring John Harbaugh to become their next head coach, who should help continue the development of Jackson Dart. Harbaugh brings a new coaching culture to the G-men with credibility and accountability, along with a run-heavy offense to control the clock and keep the team's defense fresh. Dart showed flashes of brilliance during his rookie season, but will be ready to take the next step in becoming a superstar under Harbaugh's watch. Not to mention, the Giants added some strong and veteran talent on offense, like signing Odell Beckham Jr., Juju Smith-Schuster, Asana Likely, Patrick Rickard, and of course, Darnell Mooney. The Giants also have a great defense that'll be led by Abdul Carter, who is also going to take a massive step forward into superstardom and dominate opposing offenses. Will lose more games? Jacksonville Jaguars. As fun as it was to see the Jaguars have a dominant 2025 season, 2026 will not be the same, as they're likely going to regress during the regular season. The Jaguars have a tough schedule with the Denver Broncos and New England Patriots in the early window of the season, not to mention have back-to-back games in London against the Philadelphia Eagles and Houston Texans. The Jaguars didn't address the running back position in free agency, as Travis Etienne signed a massive 4-year, $52 million deal with the New Orleans Saints. The Jaguars also didn't address their needs at quarterback and edge rusher during the 2026 offseason, instead drafting developmental guys to fill in the voids, which is not a good sign for a team looking to repeat as AFC South champions. Look, as good as Liam Cohen is, he and the Jaguars are gonna have their work cut out for them in 2026. Will win more games? Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs will likely bounce back after a disastrous injury-riddled season, as Patrick Mahomes will be healthier and has a revamped coaching staff. Eric Bieniemy returns as the team's offensive coordinator in 2026, and he looks to revamp the Chiefs' offense with former Super Bowl 60 MVP Kenneth Walker III in the backfield. The Chiefs added Mansour Delane in the 2026 draft, who should perform quite nicely in Steve Spagnuolo's defense. Plus, the Chiefs have a much easier schedule heading into the regular season. Wide receivers Xavier Worthy and Tyquan Thornton should do quite nicely on offense, as both are expected to excel in head coach Andy Reid's and Bieniemy's system. Mahomes and the Chiefs should definitely be motivated to seize control of the competition and dominate on the field during this upcoming regular season. But hey, what team do you think will win more games this year? What team do you think will lose more games this year? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, then hey, clicking the like button helps us out a ton. And you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.